Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're looking into some pretty fascinating research on drinks that could actually make you healthier. I know, right? It sounds almost too good to be true. We're talking about boosting your health, maybe even fighting off serious illnesses, like cancer.
Oh, yeah, big ones.
Exactly. Obesity too. And our main source for this deep dive, Dr. William Lai,
Oh, wow, he's
a physician and
yeah,
researcher.
yes. I've read some of his work. He's really interesting.
Absolutely. He's done a lot of work on angiogenesis, you know, how blood vessels grow.
Oh, right,
And
right.
apparently what we drink can really affect that process in some pretty surprising ways.
It's not like, sipping your way to perfect health.
No, no.
Of course not.
Right.
But it is fascinating, like how these everyday drinks
Mm-hmm.
can be so powerful for staying healthy, I mean.
Okay, so first up, green tea. Now, I already knew green tea was good for you,
Oh, yeah.
but this research takes it to a whole new level. Dr. Lee found that green tea, particularly the Japanese matcha, can actually stop those blood vessels that feed tumors from growing.
Wow.
That's huge for fighting cancer, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's not just theory either. There's this study, the Shanghai Women's Health Study. They tracked almost 70,000 women.
Wow.
And the ones who drank green tea at least 3 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
they were 37% less likely to get colon cancer.
37%. That's amazing. What is it about green tea that makes it so powerful?
Well, it all comes down to this compound, EGCG.
EGCG?
Yeah, think of it like a tiny warrior in your cup of tea.
Okay.
It inhibits the growth of cancer cells,
Wow.
which is already impressive. But it can even block some viruses, too,
Oh, really?
like hepatitis C and HIV, from even entering cells.
So it's like a multi-pronged defense system,
Hmm.
all from a simple cup of tea. I've also read that the caffeine in green tea can, boost your metabolism,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
help burn fat.
Mm-hmm. There's
But-
truth to that.
So is there, an ideal way to prepare it?
You know what Dr. Lai actually suggests? Steeping your tea a little longer
Ooh.
than you normally would to release more of those good compounds.
Longer steeping, I can handle that.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to another drink that's a regular part of my day. Coffee. And honestly, this one surprised me. Dr. Lay's research found that people who drank 2 to 3.5 cups a day
Yeah.
had a 30% lower risk of dying from any cause. That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And a big part of that is this natural chemical in coffee called chlorogenic acid. It can improve blood flow, even stimulate stem cell regeneration.
Wait, so coffee could be helping to regenerate my cells? That seems almost too good to be true. What about all that caffeine, though? Isn't that supposed to be bad for you?
Well, that's a valid concern. And of course, too much of anything can be a bad thing.
Right.
But it seems like the benefits might actually outweigh the risks
Yeah.
for some people. And here's a little tip. Organic coffee actually has more of that chlorogenic acid than conventional coffee.
Mm.
So something to think about next time you buy coffee.
So how does coffee actually help fight off cancer?
Well, there's something pretty fascinating going on at the cellular level. Those polyphenols we talked about, especially chlorogenic and caffeic acid, they can activate this gene called RAB2,
RAB2.
which is a tumor suppressor gene.
Wow.
So drinking coffee can actually, switch on your body's own defenses against cancer.
That's incredible. It's not just a theory, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
There's been research, like at the University of South Carolina, that showed coffee consumption actually decreased the growth of human breast cancer cells.
Wow. I am officially impressed with my morning cup of joe.
Mm.
All right, let's switch gears to something a little sweeter. Pomegranate juice?
I love those tart little seeds, but I had no idea they could be so good for you.
There's more to those juicy seeds than meets the eye, right?
Right.
Pomegranate juice has these compounds called elagitannins.
The legitannins.
Yeah. Dr. Lai describes them as cutting off the blood supply to tumors,
Oh, wow.
essentially starving them. That makes sense, thinking about Dr. Lai's focus on angiogenesis. If you cut off the blood supply, you prevent the tumors from growing and spreading.
Exactly. And what's even better, pomegranate juice is a great choice if you're watching your sugar intake. It's lower in sugar and calories than other fruit juices.
No, that's good to know.
But it's still a powerhouse of antioxidants. And it even promotes gut health
Oh, really?
by encouraging the growth of beneficial bacteria, like one called Akkermansia muciniphila.
I've heard of that one. Isn't that the guardian of the gut?
That's the one. And research is showing that pomegranate juice may be helpful in fighting different types of cancer, like breast, prostate, colon, and even lung cancer.
So it's not just about feeling good in the moment. It's about potentially protecting yourself down the line from serious diseases.
Absolutely.
I'm starting to see my grocery list in a whole new light.
I think that's one of the most powerful things about Dr. Ly's work. He's helping us see the potential in the stuff we already enjoy, like food and drinks.
Okay, let's move on to something I bet everyone listening has in their kitchen right now. Tomato sauce. I mean, it's such a basic ingredient.
Totally.
But I never realized it could actually have cancer-fighting potential.
That's the beauty of Dr. Ly's work. It's like he's highlighting the power of everyday ingredients.
Right.
We often overlook the simple things.
Yeah.
But that humble tomato sauce, packed with lycopene,
Lycopene, yeah.
a powerful antioxidant, gives tomatoes their red color.
I remember reading that lycopene can't, help starve cancer cells.
Yep, by cutting off their blood supply.
But there's another thing about lycopene that I found really fascinating. Dr. Ly says that when we cook tomatoes, the lycopene actually becomes easier for our bodies to absorb.
That's right. And especially when you combine it with olive oil.
Oh, so that classic Mediterranean combo.
It's not just delicious. It's a smart way to boost the how much lycopene your body can actually use.
So we're getting double the goodness.
Yeah.
The anti-angiogenic properties of lycopene plus the heart-healthy benefits of olive oil.
Exactly. And remember that big study, the one that followed almost 80,000 men for 20 years.
Yeah, the one where eating cooked tomatoes could lower the risk of prostate cancer.
That one. The men who ate cooked tomatoes 2 to 3 times a week,
Wow.
they had a much lower risk of developing prostate cancer. Pretty compelling evidence, right? That something as simple as a bowl of pasta with tomato sauce could be doing so much good.
Okay, now for our last drink in this deep dive. Red wine.
Ooh.
This one's sure to be a fan favorite. Turns out red wine might not just be enjoyable, it could actually be good for us.
Yeah.
What's interesting here is that red wine can actually help our bodies produce more stem cells. And stem cells are essential for repair and regeneration, especially as we age.
Right.
Dr. Larza suggests 1 to 2 glasses a day could give you optimal benefit.
Okay, so a glass with dinner.
Yeah.
Not a bad prescription.
Exactly. So it's more than just enhancing the meal. It could be helping your body repair itself. I also read that, just like some of the other drinks we talked about, red wine might also help prevent cancer by, stopping the blood vessels that feed tumors from growing.
That's right. But it's important to remember, not all red wines are created equal.
Oh.
Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon, they stand out. They've got higher levels of the beneficial compounds, especially one called resveratrol.
Resveratrol. Isn't that the one we often hear about in connection with red wine's health benefits?
That's it. Resveratrol is a powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, and it's been linked to better cardiovascular health.
So enjoying a glass of red wine with dinner might actually be doing your heart some good.
It seems that way.
This is also fascinating. We've covered green tea, coffee, pomegranate juice, tomato sauce, and red wine, and I feel like there's so much more to uncover.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot more we could talk about.
We'll definitely have to do a follow-up. But for now, thanks for joining us for part 1 of this deep dive. We'll be back soon with part 2, where we explore the science behind all of this in even more detail. Stay tuned.
Yeah, it really is remarkable how these everyday drinks can actually, impact our health.
It's like we have a whole pharmacy in our kitchens. We just didn't know it.
Right.
What stood out to you the most from all this research?
I think for me, it was that reminder that simple, everyday choices can really make a difference. We get so caught up in the latest health fads and trends that we forget about the simple things.
Yeah.
Like a cup of green tea or a glass of red wine with dinner.
Totally. You're the expert here, so can you walk us through some of the science? Like, how do these drinks actually work on a cellular level?
Well, let's take green tea again.
Yeah.
We talked about that EGCG.
Right, the little warrior.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It could actually bind to specific receptors on your cells.
Okay.
And that triggers this whole chain reaction.
Oh, wow.
That can stop cancer cells from growing and even protect your DNA from damage.
So it's doing more than just, neutralizing free radicals.
Oh, yeah. It's actually interacting with our cells.
Yeah.
In a way that helps keep us healthy.
Wow. And what about coffee? What about those polyphenols we were talking about?
Those polyphenols can actually influence which genes get switched on or off.
What?
It's like they have little control panels inside our cells.
That is mind-blowing. So what we drink can actually change how our genes express themselves.
It's really a fascinating area of research.
Yeah.
We're learning more and more about the connection between what we eat and drink, our genes, and our overall health.
So in a way, we are what we drink.
You could say that. And the amazing thing is we have the power to influence those connections through the choices we make every day.
I want to go back to red wine for a minute. You mentioned that resveratrol is good for your heart. How does that actually work?
Okay, well, think of it this way. Resveratrol helps to calm down inflammation in your blood vessels. Now, inflammation is a natural process.
Yeah.
But when it's chronic, it can damage your arteries,
Right.
which makes you more likely to get heart disease.
Makes sense.
So resveratrol basically acts as a protector.
So it's more about prevention than trying to reverse damage?
Yeah.
That's already been done.
That's a good way to look at it. Plus, resveratrol is also an antioxidant,
Right.
which means it can protect your cells from those free radical troublemakers.
Okay, so this brings up another question. If we know that specific compounds in these drinks are good for us, couldn't we just take them in supplement form? Like, wouldn't that be easier, more efficient?
A lot of people ask that. And while supplements can definitely be useful sometimes,
Yeah.
there's something to be said for getting those compounds in their natural form
All right.
from real food and drinks.
Like there's a synergy that happens.
Exactly. It's called the entourage effect.
Right. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
That's it. And we're still learning about all the complex interactions between different compounds in food and drinks. It's totally possible that there are even more benefits to consuming them together.
Wow.
In ways we haven't even discovered yet.
So a pomegranate is more than just its elagitannins.
Right.
And a tomato is more than just its lycopene.
Exactly. It's the whole package that matters.
It's not just about the science either.
No.
It's about how these things make us feel.
Exactly.
You know, there's a psychological and emotional component to it all.
That's a huge part of it.
And those feelings of enjoyment, even celebration, those are part of a healthy lifestyle too.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's about finding that balance between the science and the pleasure, the knowledge and the intuition.
And ultimately, it's about giving ourselves permission to make choices that make us feel good.
Right.
Both physically and mentally.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those choices can be incredibly empowering.
They really can. This deep dive has been so eye-opening. Who knew that a cup of coffee, a glass of red wine, or even a simple bowl of tomato sauce could be so good for us?
It's pretty amazing, right? The power of nature never ceases to amaze me.
Okay, so we've covered 4 out of our 5 drinks. Green tea, coffee, pomegranate juice, and red wine. But we still have one more to go.
Right.
Let's wrap things up in part 3 by focusing on that kitchen staple, tomato sauce.
Okay.
And some of the really remarkable things we've learned from Dr. Lee's research.
All right. Welcome back to our deep dive into drinks that can boost your health. We've already covered green tea, coffee, pomegranate juice, and red wine.
A lot of good stuff already, yeah.
But we saved the best for last. Just kidding. But this one is a staple in so many kitchens. Tomato sauce. It's simple, but Dr. Lee's research shows it might be a real powerhouse when it comes to fighting cancer.
You know, it's amazing how we can overlook the potential of these everyday foods.
Right.
Tomato sauce is a perfect example. Like, it's full of lycopene, the antioxidant that gives tomatoes their color.
And Dr. Lee's work really highlights how powerful that lycopene can be.
It really does.
We talked about how lycopene can help, like, cut off the blood supply to tumors.
Yeah.
Essentially starving them. But here's something I found really interesting. Dr. Lee says cooking tomatoes actually makes the lycopene easier for us to absorb.
That's right. And if you combine those cooked tomatoes with olive oil, it makes them even more beneficial. So that classic Mediterranean combo, tomatoes and olive oil, it's not only delicious, it's also a really smart way to boost how much lycopene your body can actually use.
So it's like double the goodness.
Yeah.
The anti-angiogenic properties of the lycopene plus the heart-healthy benefits of olive oil.
You can't go wrong with that. And speaking of things you can't go wrong with, remember that big study we talked about?
You mean the one with like 80,000 men?
Yes. Over 20 years.
The one where eating cooked tomatoes could lower the risk of prostate cancer.
That's it. And it's not just prostate cancer. Research suggests that lycopene might also help protect against other types of cancer as well.
So a simple bowl of pasta with tomato sauce?
Yeah.
It could actually have such a big impact on our health.
It really highlights how powerful our food choices can be. Yeah. Even small changes can add up over time. So we've got cancer prevention, heart health. Are there any other benefits to eating more tomatoes?
Oh, absolutely. Tomatoes also have carnitine. It's an amino acid that can help your body burn fat more efficiently. So adding them to your diet could help with weight management too.
So we've got cancer prevention, heart health, weight management, all from the humble tomato.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It really is. Nature really provides us with so many tools to support our well-being.
It does. Sometimes the simplest things are the most effective.
Absolutely. All right, so we've explored the potential benefits of 5 drinks: green tea, coffee, pomegranate juice, tomato sauce, and red wine. What would you say is the main takeaway you want listeners to remember from all of this?
I think the most important thing to remember is that our choices really do matter. What we eat and drink has a real impact on our health. And by making informed choices and, incorporating these drinks into a balanced lifestyle, we can potentially reduce our risk of disease.
Yeah.
And improve our well-being.
It's about being proactive and realizing we have a lot more control over our health than we might think.
Exactly. And as we've said throughout this whole deep dive, moderation is key.
Right.
These drinks aren't magic bullets.
Yeah.
They're just one piece of the puzzle. A healthy diet, regular exercise, managing stress.
It's a holistic approach, making choices that nourish us in the long run, both our bodies and our minds. And if a cup of coffee or a glass of red wine can be part of that, well, that's something to celebrate.
Cheers to that. And you know what? Here's a thought for our listeners. If these 5 everyday drinks can have such a positive effect on our health, what other hidden gems are out there in the foods and drinks we already enjoy? I think it's an invitation to be curious, to experiment, keep exploring, see what else nature has to offer.
So true. Well, that's it for this deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, keep exploring and keep those glasses full of healthy and delicious drinks.